Hello and welcome to my hair. Hello and welcome to a tag video. I was tagged by PearOK51, a very, very dear friend of mine. His name is Mark, but I call him Pear. It's a thing, and stay out of it. Anyway, he had this really lighthearted and upbeat tag about death. I was going to do, or I would like to do, an elaborate response that was highly edited with lots of things to look at. But honestly, I realized that if I do that, I'm never going to do it. So what you're going to get is what you get, and this is what you're going to get, and that's me doing it now. For better or for worse, or really should be for worse or really bad, in that I'm just going to do it straight through, and no editing, no stops, no fun bumpers like Sexy Phil, just straight through. So, without further ado, or maybe a little, first question. Do you want a celebration of life or a funeral? Now, I don't know, is that a choice or one or the other or none of the above? I'm not really sure. I read it like, do you want either of those, any of those, what do you want, kind of a thing. And my answer is yes. Alright, really, the one thing in life that I never want to do is make you sad, make you feel bad, hurt you, or anything like that. So a funeral to me says that everybody's going to be sad. So I guess I don't want a funeral. I've always said I would like a jazz funeral. I would like a celebration. The best funeral, or acknowledgement of my death, for lack of a big word, would be some sort of a party where everybody sat around and told stories about me, good, bad, or indifferent. Because, let's face it, that's really how I feel, I would love it if my friends, my family, my loved ones sat around and just laughed and laughed and laughed about all the dumbass things that I've done in my life. Because I've done a lot. So, what's the word for that? That's what I want. I want that. So probably not a celebration, probably not a funeral, maybe a roast. Maybe that's what it ought to be. I should have a roast. Would you just have a roast if I go before you, just all of you, get around as big a table as you can muster and just throw me under it, because that's probably, well, that's what I'd want. Alright, next question. Whom are you most worried about leaving when you die? Well, the first person that came to my head is my wife. And then my son, and then I waffled between the two. I got a little syrup. But I think it would be my wife, because I think my son would still have my wife and a bunch of other people, and I think that it would be the one person. What's that saying? I want you to go first, so whatever. I think that she would feel that way. She'd want to go first, so she didn't have to lose me or something, and I, on the other hand, could live on forever. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I really am. I wouldn't want her to be in pain, so that's who I'd worry about. Which famous person would you like to have speak at your funeral? God, I mean, lots of people came to mind. I mean, would it be wonderful if Angelina Jolie would bemoan my passing? Yes. But probably more like Rosie O'Donnell. I know. You're going to say whatever you're going to say, and say it. I don't care. I don't even like you. No. A friend, okay? And if it was, I would tell you that in my life, I am the closest to Rosie O'Donnell, as in terms of a celebrity, a famous person. Does she really know me at all? No. But do I know her? Absolutely. So my mission in life will be to befriend her before I die, and then ask her, could you, if I die before you, would you please discuss me like I'm your BFF? So that's my answer there. After you die, for what would you most like to be remembered? She was funny, maybe. She made me laugh, or she cared. She was a friend. Don't remember any of the stupid stuff, alright? Wouldn't want that. But something like that. I think funny would probably be the most important thing to me, is that hopefully I've made you laugh. And so that's what I would want you to remember. What one thing would you like to have buried with you? Alright, so this one I read in advance and thought about, and I didn't have this real, like, sentimental or um, deep answer. If you remember, and those of you that have known me that long, you know this guy. You remember him. You remember the story. He still travels with me everywhere. I just came back from a business and then a friend trip, and he was with me the whole time in the bag. Nobody saw him, but I knew he was there. So this is my travel companion when I don't have a travel companion. If you remember the story, if you don't, I'll tell you. I'll be glad to tell you another time, because it's not about this. I wasn't tagged about him. Anyway, him, this is who. He lives in my laptop bag. So if I drop dead tomorrow, get him out of my laptop bag and put him with me. And I reserve the right to change that if I come up with something, you know, like I said, monumental, sentimental, deep. I will tell you that I had a discussion recently with my wife about our rings, and I said, well, you know, if I go before you, take my ring off, keep it. And she said, why? Why would I want that? And I'm like, well, first of all, why would you bury it, or whatever you do with me? I don't know, cat food. But I don't know, maybe put it in a jewelry box, and you know, because this is on me 24/7, and I don't know. For me, it seems intensely personal, and I wouldn't want it to go in the ground if that's where I end up. I don't assume I will. Is that a question further down? I don't know. I may be tipping my hand. I don't know if it's one, but I assume I'll probably be cremated. You're not going to cremate this ring, I don't think. Do you cremate rings? I don't know. Who cares? It's my story. We're going to say now. So I said to her, take, you know, my jewelry, my ring, the watch, the bracelet, are kind of my, you know, armor that Under Armor, over armor, bling armor. So I would want you to take that, put it somewhere, but so don't bury it with me. But you know, she thought that she would, and so my curiosity is, what do you think of that? Would you bury your spouse wearing their wedding ring, take it off, whatever? Because to me, I think, frankly and jadedly, I admit that the Undertaker's going to go, nice ring, and why bury it? So whatever. Anyway, what number are we on? 45? Is there anything in your house that you do not want people to find after you're dead? Yes. Oh, yes. There's the obvious, like tax records, and then other things. So yes, definitely. Gratefully, he didn't ask what they were. So yes, definitely. What do you think people will say about you at your funeral that might not be quite true? I don't know. I don't know. I assume it'll be an extreme of some kind, because I feel like today in society, we're a society of extremes. You're extremely happy, you're extremely sad. You totally loved that, or it totally sucked. So depending on who you're talking to, an ex-girlfriend or whatever, you know, I might be inflated in some way or another. So that is the large answer. The small answer to me was too personal to say, so I'll leave it there. If you could choose your last words, what would they be? I don't know. I had a friend that he said he wished his first word was quote, so when he died he could say end quote. And I would love to say that, but it wasn't mine, so I can only reference. I would hope it's not something like, watch this, you know, or don't worry, I've got it, bad. I'd love to be funny in that moment, because everybody's, I don't know, I assume so terrified. I'd love to say something like, told you I was sick, or see you later, or see you on the flip side, or don't forget to write, or some smart ass something. But really, ultimately, if I'm going to be real, it's going to depend on where I am and who I'm with, hopefully. And then, you know, assuming I know they're my last words, because I had a discussion with a friend recently about a plane crash because I was on a plane and I had this. Did you ever see that movie? What the hell was that called? Final chapter in my head. What is it called? There's a movie where they crash on a plane, and in it, the plane crashes and it sort of comes from the front of the plane to the back like a fireball, right? So whenever I'm on a plane and I'm visualizing it, and unfortunately it happens a lot, I visualize that where coming at me, you know. And I said to my friend, I think my last words would be, "Oh shit," and I do because that's usually what I'll say, big or little. "Oh shit" is the first words, and then after that is depends, like "you dumbass" or "look out" or whatever. But anyway, I thought I would say "oh shit," and my friend said, "I think you might get to like oh," and it would be over. So I don't know. I don't know what my last words would be. I would think, frankly, it would, like I said, it would depend on the situation. It would depend on if I knew they were my last words. So, for example, if I was laying in bed and I was dying of something like, rampant foot fungus or athlete's foot, for example, so I'd been bedridden for 3 or 4 years, um, I would say something reassuring like, "Don't worry, I'll be okay," or "Don't be afraid," or, you know, "I'll save you a seat," something like that, because I knew it was my last words. I have a feeling most people, whatever their last words are, rarely know they're their last words. So I just hope it's not something bad. Like my last Twitter might be "you fucking jerk," and then, oh yeah, she died later that day. So I don't know. I don't know what they would be. I know I'd hope that they would be um, heartfelt, or if I'm really lucky, inspirational, because I'm like a hero looking for a deed. Maybe it'll be, "I'll take care of this," or whatever. But really, I picture loved ones, and I'd say something probably reassuring, like, "I'll see you there," or "I'll save you a seat," or "it's gonna be okay," or something like that. Good God, could I go on any longer about that? If you have a tombstone, what epitaph would you like on it? Well, I would refer back to what I said earlier. Probably my favorite is "Told you I was sick." The other one, "If you know what I do for a living," and I've been doing for a living for 25 years, I've always thought that I would probably write "back in 30 minutes or less," or "I'm free." That's probably what I would end up with. Would you prefer to be missed or remembered fondly? Definitely remembered fondly. I don't want anybody to miss me. I don't want anybody to be sad. I live my whole life not wanting people to be sad. In fact, I try to unsad people, which is the thing. So yeah, I would be wanting to be remembered fondly and not have you be sad ever. Would you prefer dying suddenly, thus shocking your friends and family, or suffering a slow, painful death over several months so you could say goodbye, settle differences, and get your affairs in order, or fares, whatever, if you've got a lot of fares? Um, well, I always had a theory about that. I always felt like, karmically and cosmically and cosmopolitan, which is a drink. I always thought that slow deaths or long illnesses were for people who were afraid to die. It wasn't about settling affairs. It wasn't about the loved ones being able to say goodbye. It was about being afraid to die. Therefore, they were able to get to a point where they wanted to die, frankly. You're so sick or you're so in pain or both that at some point you go, "I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I would rather die than live like this," if you can call it living. So since I was little, I always thought that's really what that's about. But then reading this question, I thought, well, maybe that's chicken shit, because I would prefer to go suddenly. I'm not afraid to die. I'm good. I could go right now and be all right. Um, but I really, having witnessed the slow death, would don't need that. You don't need to, like I said, in my opinion, don't need to beat me down and make me ready to die. I'm ready right now. Go ahead. You know. Um, but reading it is, maybe that's not cool. Like, it's not cool to my loved ones to "I'm here now and I'm gone tomorrow" kind of thing, or now, whatever. So my answer is, for me, it's sudden death. Please, please, and don't let me drown. Don't let me burn, and don't let me be raped to death. All right, but sudden death, which I think is the next answer. So I kind of was premature. I'll come up with more. But for my loved ones, probably a slow death, because I think the same is true for people that love you. They don't want to lose you. They love you so much, and they just don't, they want you to, hang on. But at a point, if they really love you, they see how sick you are and how much pain you're in, and they want you to be set free. Did you ever see that movie, Lorenzo's Oil? Oh my God. He is so sick, and it's actually a good ending in that they discover this Lorenzo's Oil that helps him. But there's a point when he's in so much pain and he's so sick that his mother tells him, if you can't take this anymore, you go right now to Jesus. And Jesus, talk about the ugly cry. Okay, so I think that there's that, like your loved ones could get to that point where they really don't want to lose you, but they don't want to see you so suffer, so they'll give you away. I think that's that. So for me, sudden death. For you, if you need me to, slow death. Kill me with an athlete's foot. Pick one way you would not want to die. Yeah. I don't want to drown. Drown? I don't want to be in water and unable to breathe. I almost did do that when I was 10. And my cousin threw some coins in the pool, the deep end, and I just wasn't thinking deep end. I was thinking coins, get the coins, and I didn't know how to swim, and I jumped in, and nobody saw me, and I was drowning, and somehow managed to, in the middle of the water, not on the bottom, not on the top, find the wall, climb the wall with my hands and feet, and not drowned. And it was all by myself. Imagine you don't know how to swim at all, and that's what happened. So that's my please don't drown me. If you're gonna kill me, do it in other ways. I don't like the idea of being burned alive. I don't want to be barbecue, and I don't want to be raped to death, which I mentioned earlier. So those are the things that I really prefer not to do. And then it says, and finally, if you could come back from the dead, would you help, haunt, or hinder? I don't have to reserve the right to say all of the above and none of the above. Again, it'll just depend. How much lateral movement do I have? Am I confined to where I died? And so wherever that is, is it in a house? Is it on a highway? Is it in a hospital? Is it that? Or do I have a lot of movement and I can go see you and I can go see them? Because honestly, I would like all of the above. There's people I want to scare the piss out of. There's people I would want to take care of and be kind of a guardian angel. And there's others I'd like to just trip whenever I felt like it. So my answer is all of the above. And that pretty much concludes this tag. I'm very sorry that it's not some editing extravaganza. I have some stuff in the works, but I have to have some time. And at the moment, I don't have any. And so this is as good as it's going to get. But hopefully this isn't going to be, wow, she made this video and then died the next day. Let's hope not. Let's hope that you can refer to this when I go and play it, so everybody knows what my wishes are. And I don't think it was a question, but since we're saying wishes, I don't want to be in a church. I wouldn't ever want like a funeral in a church or anything in a church, because I don't go to church. I'm not saying I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic, if you must know. It's sort of pushy of you. So I don't belong there. If you don't go to church ever, why in the heck would you go there when you die? All right? I think you have God or you don't. All right? And you don't need a church to get you there. So I think that's it. Thank you, Para, for tagging me. I really appreciate it. I love you loads, and if I haven't mentioned already, I thought your video was freaking awesome. I love the editing, and I love you. Talk to you later. Pieces.